Hello my scholars, you are welcome to my school YouTube channel and my name is Frank. In today's video, we shall be tackling JAMB CBT Mathematics past question for the year 2006. So relax, do not go anywhere and we'll be right back. You are welcome back to my school YouTube channel. In today's video, we shall be solving question 1 to 25. So let's kick off with question 1. The table above shows the scores of a group of students in a physics test. If the mode is M and the number of students who scored 4 or more is N, what is N, M in bracket? Okay, so let's provide answer to this question. So we are told that N represents the number of students who score 4 or more in the physics test. Okay, so to simply do that, our attention here will be focused on the frequency. Why? Because the frequency actually represents the number of students who got a particular score. Okay, for example, the number of students who score 1 is 2, the number of students who score 2 is 3. Okay, so for N, basically we'll be focusing on the frequency. So here they said the number of students who score 4 or more. So that means we are going to start from 4. Okay, so in that case we're having 12, okay, plus 10, plus 6, plus 4, plus 1. Okay, so I said we'll be having the number of students who score more will be equal to 12 plus 10 plus 6 plus 4 plus 1. So if we add that together, if we add these numbers together, that will be equals to 33. Okay, so that means our N is equals to 33. Okay, so we have gotten the value of N. Now let's get the value of M. Now remember, M represents the mode. Okay, so we are going to use the number of students to get the mode, because here we are actually looking for the modal score. Okay, so if you check very well, the one with the highest frequency here is 12. So we trace it up to the score and that will give us 4. Okay, so that means the modal score is actually equal to 4. So here we'll be having, okay, so M will be equals to 4. So that if we put this together, we'll be having 33, 4. Okay, so this is the answer to this question, and that makes option A the correct option to this question. Question 2. A final examination requires that a student answer any 4 out of 6 questions. In how many ways can this be done? So this is a typical example of a question on combination. So for combination, remember, no order is followed, right? So for the case of this student, the student can start by answering question 6 or can decide to start by answering question 1. Okay, so there's no order to follow. So let's move over to the board to find the number of ways this can be done. Okay, so in the case of this question, like I said earlier on, it's a combination question. So here we'll be having 6 combination 4. Why? Because the student is given 6 questions and is expected, okay, to answer 4 questions from it. Okay, so if we break this down, we're having 6 factorial all over 6 minus 4 in bracket factorial 4 factorial. Okay, so let's express this further. So we'll be having 6 times 5 times 4 factorial all over 2 factorial times 4 factorial. So 4 factorial will cancel out 4 factorial. Of course, 2 factorial is the same thing as 2. 2 factorial means 2 times 1. Okay, so 2 factorial here is 1 and 2 here is 3. So that at the end of the day we'll have 15. So the student can do this in 15 different ways. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option A. Question 3. If the mean of 5 consecutive integers is 30, find the largest of the numbers. So when we talk about integer, we are simply referring to whole numbers, which can be positive or negative or 0. But integers are never fraction or decimal number. Okay, so let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So the mean of those 5 consecutive integers is 30. So here we are assuming that the integers are positive. Okay, so the first one will be x and the second one will be x plus 1. Then the third one will be x plus 2, and the fourth one will be x plus 3, and the fifth one will be x plus 4. Okay, because they said 5 consecutive integers. Okay, meaning that they are following each other naturally. Okay, so let's look for the mean. That will be s bar, okay, will be equals to x plus 1 plus x plus 2 plus x plus 3 plus x plus 4 divided by 5, because there are 5 integers, okay, divided by 5, and this is equals to 30 because the mean has been given to us, okay. So if we add all the s's, 1 2 3 4 5, we'll be having 5x, then plus, if we add these numbers, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, that will be equals to 10. All over 5 is equals to 30. Okay, so there's something common here, so we can factor it out, which is 5. So here we'll be having 5, then bracket open, x plus 2 over 5 is equals to 30. So here, 5 can cancel out 5. So that we have x plus 2 is equals to 30. Now, we are calculating for the value of s. So here we can make it the subject of formula by moving 2 to the other side of the equation. Now remember that plus 2, once it crosses the equal to sign, is going to change to minus, so that s is equals to 30 minus 2, that is equals to 28. But remember, in this question we are asked to find the largest of the numbers. So the largest of the numbers will be x plus 4. Okay, so the largest number, which will be x plus 4, but remember our s is equals to 28. So in place of s here, we replace it with 28. So that we'll be having 28 plus 4, and this will be equals to 32. Okay, so the largest of the 5 consecutive integers is equals to 32. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option C, 32. Question 4. A bar contains 5 black, 4 white, and s red marbles. If the probability of picking a red marble is 2 over 5, find the value of s. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So first thing first is to find the total number of marbles, okay? So total marbles will be equals to 5 plus 4 plus s, and this will be equals to 9 plus x, okay? Now we are told that the probability of picking a red marble is equals to 2 over 5, right? So for us to get the probability of picking red marble, remember that probability is equals to the number of required outcome all over total outcome. So in this case, the number of red marbles is x, right? Then the total is 9 plus s, and this will be equals to 2 over 5. So let me put this here, PR red, okay, is equals to this, which is the probability of picking a red marble. So since we are looking for the value of s, we just cross multiply, right? Because we have two fractions that are equal to each other, so we cross multiply. Okay, so if we cross multiply, we'll be having 5x is equals to 18 plus 2x. So we can move 2s to this other side, so that we'll be having 5x minus 2s is equals to 18, right? So this is 3s is equals to 18. Since we are looking for the value of s, we divide both sides by the coefficient of s, which is 3. Okay, so if we do that, our s will be equals to 6. Okay, so in this question we are asked to calculate for the value of s. So the value of s is 6. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option D, 6. Question 5. Find the variance of 2s, 2x minus 1 and 2s plus 1. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So the formula for calculating variance, V, is equals to summation x minus x bar in bracket square all over n. Okay, where s bar here represents mean. So first of all, let's calculate the mean of the 3 values that are given to us. So s bar will be equals to 2x plus 2x minus 1 plus 2s plus 1 all over 3. Okay, so minus 1 is going to take out plus 1. So that if we add the three 2s's together, that will be equals to 6x. Then we divide it by 3, that will be equals to 2x. So now we can calculate for our variance. Okay, just for us to create a little table here. So here will be x, while here will be x minus x bar, and here will be x minus s bar squared. Okay, so here is 2x, then we'll have 2x minus 1, then we'll have 2x plus 1. So 2x minus 2x, which is our s bar, that will be equals to 0. So 0 raised to the power 2 is 0. Then here 2x minus 1, then minus 2x. So at the end of the day, we'll be having minus 1. So minus 1 squared is 1. Then 2x plus 1 minus 2x. So minus 2x we take out plus 2x, so that here we'll be having 1. 1 squared is 1. So if we add this together, which is summation x minus s bar in bracket square, that will be equals to 2. Okay, so for us to calculate for variance, we just substitute these values and get our answer. So x summation x minus s bar in bracket square is equals to 2. The number of the data that is given to us is 3. So here we'll be having 3. So the variance of the 3 numbers is equals to 2 over 3. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option A, 2 over 3. Question 6. The table above shows the distribution of recharge cards of 4 major GSM operators. What is the probability that a recharge card selected at random will be GTN or QTEL? Okay, so to provide answer to this question, let's move over to the board to do that. Okay, the total number of recharge cards, we are going to add them together. So if we do that, we'll be having 20. Okay, so total number of cards is equals to 20, right? So here we are asked to find the probability that a recharge card selected at random will be GTN or QTEL. Okay, so let's do GTN card. The number of GTN cards is equals to 5, and the number of QTEL cards is equals to 3. Okay, so now we are looking for the probability of GTN or QTEL. Okay, so remember that all in probability simply means addition. So it's just for us to add the probability of picking GTN card to the probability of picking QTEL card. So in this case, we'll be having 5 over 20 plus 3 over 20. This will be equals to 8 over 20. Okay, the reason for that is because since the numbers are the same, the SCM is one of the numbers, right? So we just add the numerators. Okay, so 4 here will be equals to 2, and 4 here will be equals to 5. So the probability of picking GTN or QTEL card is equals to 2 over 5. Okay, so let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option C, 2 over 5. Question 7. The pie chart above shows the expenditure of a family whose income is 30,000 naira. If the expenditure on food is twice that on housing, and that on school fees is twice that on transport, how much does the family spend on food? So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So we know that the expenditure of the family costs 30,000 naira. So remember in the question they said if the expenditure on food is twice that on housing, right? So that means the expenditure on housing is S, while that on food will be 2S. Okay, then they now went further and said expenses on school fees is twice that on transport. Remember that on the pie chart, number of sector for school fees is equals to 90 degrees. Okay, and they said if it is twice that on transport, so in that case, that means the angle for transport is 90 divided by 2. Okay, because it's twice that, because the expenditure on school fees is twice that on transport. So in that case, it will be 90 divided by 2. That will be 45 on transport. So that twice of that will be 90 for school fees. Okay, but remember that the sum of angles in a circle is equals to 360. So we are going to add all this together. So that we'll be having 2x plus s plus 90 plus 45 is equals to 360. Okay, so here we'll be having 3x plus 135 is equals to 360. So that 3s is equals to 360 minus 135. And this will be equals to 225. Okay, so that 3s is equals to 225. So that if we divide both sides by 3, we'll be having s is equals to 225 divided by 3. Okay, so let's divide gradually. 3 into 22, that would be 7 remainder 1, and 3 into 15, that will be 5. Okay, so the value of s is 5. So what that means is that the angle of the set of housing is 75, while that on food is 150 degrees. Okay, so here we are asked to calculate the expenditure, okay, on food. That how much does the family spend on food. So to calculate for the amount the family spend on food, that will be equals to the angle of that of food, which is 150, okay, all over 360, then times the total expenditure, which is 30,000, right? So 0, we take out 0 here, 6 here will be equals to 6, okay, 6 here will be equals to 5, so we still have 5,000 at the top there. Then 3 here will be 2, then 3 here is 5, then 2 here is 1, then 2 into 50 is 25. So we still have 5 times 2,500, okay? And 5 times 2,500 will be equals to 12,500. So the expenditure on food is equals to 12,500 naira. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct option to this question, and that is option D, 12,500 naira. Question 8. For what value of n is n plus 1 combination 3 is equals to 4 bracket open n combination 3 bracket close? So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So to solve problems such as this is just for us to use the normal combination method, okay? So n plus 1 combination 3 is n plus 1 factorial all over n plus 1 in bracket, then minus 3 in bracket factorial, then 3 factorial. And this will be equals to 4 bracket open n factorial over n minus 3 in bracket factorial, 3 factorial bracket close, okay? So 3 factorial can take out 3 factorial from here, so that we have n plus 1 in bracket factorial over, of course, if we subtract it, we'll be having n minus 2 factorial. Okay, if we open this back, we're having 3 plus 1 minus 3, and 1 minus 3 is minus 2. So on this other side, we still be having n factorial all over n minus 3 factorial, okay, all in brackets. Okay, so here let's break this down a little. So here we're having n plus 1, okay, n plus 1 in bracket, then bracket n factorial, okay, because we actually subtracted n from this. So you keep this, then the next step is to subtract 1 from this. So if we subtract 1 from this, we'll be having n factorial. So here we still do the same thing, so that we'll be having n minus 2, then we'll keep this, then we subtract 1 from n minus 2, that will be n minus 3 in bracket factorial, and this is equals to 4, then bracket open n factorial all over n minus 3 in bracket factorial. Okay, so we have n factorial here, and this will cancel out the n factorial on the other side. Then here we have 3 minus n minus 3 factorial, which will cancel out 3 minus n factorial here. Okay, so that we are now having n plus 1 over n minus 2 is equals to 4 over 1, because basically we have 1 left here. So we cross multiply. So if we cross multiply, we'll be having n plus 1 is equals to 4n minus 8. Okay, so we collect like 10. So we'll move 4n to this side and move 1 to the other side. So that we'll be having n minus 4n is equals to minus 8 minus 1. So here will be equals to minus 3n, and here we'll be having minus 9. So minus will cancel out minus. So we divide both sides by 3, since 3 is the coefficient of n here, so that n is equals to 3. Okay, so the value of n is equals to 3. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct option to this question, and that is option D, 3. Question 9. The gradient of a curve is 2x plus 7, and the curve passes through point 2 and 0. Find the equation of the curve. So let's move over to the board to find the equation of the curve. Now, one thing you must know that gradient is still the same thing as dy ds, okay? So that is why I had to write dy ds is equal to 2s plus 7, because the dy ds still represent gradient, okay? So in order for us to find the equation of the curve, we have to find the integral, or take the integral of both sides. So if we take the integral of dy dx, we also take the integral of 2x plus 7, okay? So if we take the integral of dy dx, we'll be having y is equals to, take the integral of this, we'll be having 2x raised to power 2 all over 2, okay? Now remember, the power of s here is 1, so we add 1 to it, that will be 2. So that 2, we also use it to divide the whole algebraic expression, okay? The whole algebraic term, which is 2x. Then here we're having plus 7x, okay? So 2 we cancel out 2, so that at the end of the day we have y to be equals to s squared plus 7x. Of course, remember that we are dealing with indefinite integral, so we have to introduce a constant c, okay? So now in order for us to get the value of c, we have to replace x with 2 and replace y with 0, because this is x and this is y. So here we'll be having 0 and here we'll be having 2. So 2 raised to power 2, then plus 7 times 2 plus c. So this will be equals to 4 plus 14 plus c. Of course, here we'll be having 18. 0 is equals to 18 plus c. So since we are looking for c, we just move 18 to the other side of the equation, so that we'll be having c to be equals to minus 18, okay? So remember, this is the equation of the curve, but we know c to be equals to 18, so we just substitute it there. So y is equals to s squared plus 7s plus c is the equation of the curve, but we know the value of c, so that we'll be having y is equals to s squared plus 7x minus 18. So this gives us the equation of the curve. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option B. Y is equals to s squared plus 7x minus 18. Do you know that you can take practice question with our JAMB simulated CBT past question? All you need to do is to click on the link in the description below, and that will move you to Myschool website. There you will have to download Myschool mobile app for your Android devices and Myschool software for your laptops and computers. Please go ahead and start practicing. Moving on to question 10. Differentiate in brackets s squared minus 1 over s squared with respect to s. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this. So there are two ways in which we can do this. We can decide to expand this out, because here is just raised to power 2, or we can decide to use chain rule, okay? So we are going to read chain rule for this question. So we can rewrite this question to be equals to s squared then minus s raised to power minus 1 in bracket raised to power 2, right? So let's call this whole thing, let's say the whole thing is equals to s squared minus s raised to power minus 1 in bracket raised to power 2, right? Then let's represent what we have in the bracket by u, so that we now say u is equals to s squared minus s raised to power minus 1, okay? So if we do that, that means our y is equals to u squared, okay? Because this whole thing now has been replaced with u. Okay, and it's raised to power 2, right? So if we differentiate y with respect to u, we're having the y, the u is equals to 2u, right? Now let's differentiate u with respect to x, so that the u over the s is equals to, so if we differentiate this, we'll be having 2x, okay? Then minus 1, we multiply this minus to give us plus, and you'll be having s raised to power minus 2, okay? So what we actually do here is, first of all, use the power to multiply the term. So in this case, we have minus 1. So minus 1, because of the minus, it's going to change to plus. Then after we've done that, we'll now subtract 1 from the power. So if I minus 1 from 1, that will be equals to, that is minus 1 minus 1, okay? That will be equals to minus 2. Now, since we are using chain rule, okay, so our dy ds will be simply equals to du over the, sorry, dy over du, then times du over dx, okay? So let's bring in our values. Now remember, dy du is equals to 2u, okay? So you'll be having 2 brackets. Now remember that our u is equals to s squared minus x raised to power minus 1, then times, okay, now here we have 2x plus x raised to power minus 2 in bracket. Okay, so let's first of all use 2 to multiply what you have inside the first bracket. Of course, 2 is multiplying everything. Like if we use this to multiply this, we still affect this later on. Okay, so this will give us 2x squared, then minus 2x raised to power minus 1 in bracket, then multiply by 2x plus x raised to power minus 2 in the second bracket. So let's open this bracket. So we use 2x squared to multiply 2x. So 2 times 2 is going to give us 4. Then x squared times x, that will be x raised to power 3. Okay, applying the law of indices. Then look at this, 2x squared times x raised to power minus 2. That will be plus 2. Of course, if we apply, of course, we have 1 here, okay? So 2 times 1 is going to give us 2. Then here we have x squared times x raised to power minus 2. If we apply the law of indices, there will be having x raised to power 0, okay? Now let's move on to the next step. Then here we have minus 2x raised to power minus 1 times 2x. So this is it. 2 will multiply 2 first, so here we'll be having minus 4, okay, because we have minus here. So minus 2 times 2, which is positive here, that will be minus 4, okay. Now here we have x raised to power minus 1 times x. Of course, this s is raised to power 1. This is s raised to power minus 1 being multiplied by s raised to power minus 1. So if we apply the law of indices here, we're also going to be having s raised to power 0. Okay, then we'll move on to perform the last multiplication, which is minus 2x raised to power minus 1 times x raised to power minus 2. Okay, so minus 2 times 1 here, which is the coefficient of x raised to power minus 2, that will be minus 2. Okay, then x raised to power minus 1 times s raised to power minus 2, that will be x raised to power minus 3, applying the law of indices. So let's tidy up this together. So you'll be having 4x raised to power 3. Then of course anything raised to power 0 is 1, right? So 2 times 1 is 2, so you'll be having plus 2, then minus the same thing here, minus 4, then minus 2x raised to power minus 3. Okay, so at the end of the day we'll have 4x raised to power 3, then minus 2, then minus, of course, let's put this in the proper form. So we'll be having 2 all over x raised to power 3. Okay, so this is the answer to this question. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option C, 4x cubed minus 2 all over x raised to power 3. I believe you are enjoying this video content. If yes, please do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly, put on the notification bell to get informed as soon as we release the next videos. Question 11. Find the value of s for which the function s 3s cubed minus 9s squared is minimum. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So first thing first is for us to get the critical point, right? So for us to get the critical point, then the y, the s must be equal to, the y, the s must be equal to 0, okay? So meaning that we are going to differentiate this. So if we differentiate this, we'll be having 9s squared, okay, minus 18s is equals to 0. So we can divide through by 9. So if we divide through by 9, we're having s squared minus 2s is equals to 0. So here we just factorize. So s will come out so that s minus 2 will be equals to 0. So here s is equals to 0, and what we have in this bracket will be s minus 2 is equals to 0, so that s is equals to 2. So these are the critical points, okay? So for us to find the minimum point, remember that the y squared all over the s squared must be greater than 0 for us to have minimum point, okay? For us to have maximum point, the square y all over the s squared must be less than 0 for us to have maximum. So this gives us maximum and this gives us minimum, okay? So let's differentiate this again. 9s squared minus 18s again. So if we differentiate again, we're having 18s minus 18. So we cannot test to see the one that gives us the minimum value. So we are using the critical point. So when s is equals to 0, so if we put 0 here, we'll be having minus 18. This minus actually gives us maximum point. When s is equals to 0, so and we substitute. So if I replace s here with 0, I'll be having 18 times 0, which is 0. And here we'll be having minus 18. So when s is equals to 0, actually gives us the maximum point, okay? Then let's try for when s is equals to 2. So when s is equals to 2, we'll be having 18 bracket 2, then minus 18. So this is 36 minus 18, which is equals to 18, okay? So the minimum value is when s is equals to 2. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option B, 2. Question 12. If the y ds is equals to x plus cos s, find y. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So in order to find the value of y, it's just for us to take the integral of both sides, similar to one of the questions that we have solved earlier. Okay, so if we take the integral of both sides, the y, the x, we take the integral, then it's equals to x plus cos s. So if we take the integral of the y ds, that will be equals to y. So if we integrate x, that will be s squared, okay, all over 2. That will be s squared all over 2. If we integrate cos s, that will be plus sine x, then plus c. Okay, so basically this is the value of s, since we were not given the value of y and x in order for us to get the value of the constant. Okay, so the value of y is equals to s squared all over 2 plus sine x plus c. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option D, s squared over 2 plus sine x plus c. Question 13. Differentiate cos theta minus sine theta in bracket square. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So here we are going to say y is equals to cos theta minus sine theta in bracket raised to power 2, right? So we take what we have inside to be equals to u, so that u is equals to cos theta minus sine theta in bracket, right? So in this case, y will be equals to u squared, right? So let's differentiate the y with respect to du, and this will be equals to 2u, right? Then next, we differentiate u with respect to theta. So that will be having the u all over the theta, and that will be equals to, now if we differentiate cos theta, we are having minus sine theta. Then if we differentiate minus sine theta, we'll be having minus cos theta. Okay, so in this question too, we are applying chain rule. Okay, so remember that here dy the theta is equals to dy du times du the theta. Okay, so let's bring in the values of the y du. So the value of the y du is 2u. Okay, but remember that u is equals to cos theta minus sine theta. So let's put this in brackets. Okay, then du the theta is equals to minus sine theta minus cos theta in bracket. So let's expand out, okay? So that will be having 2, then let's put this big bracket here. So if cos theta multiply minus sine theta, we'll be having minus cos theta sine theta, right? Then cos theta times minus cos theta, you'll be having minus cos square theta. So minus sine theta times minus sine theta, that will be plus sine square theta. Okay, then minus sine theta times minus cos theta, that will be plus cos theta sine theta. Okay, so now we have minus cos theta sine theta here, and we also have plus cos theta minus sine theta here, so they will cancel out. So that at the end of the day, we still have 2, then bracket minus cos theta, okay, cos square theta plus sine square theta in bracket. Okay, so here we can factor out, we can bring out minus. So if we bring out minus, we're having 2 minus, then in bracket, here we'll be having cos square theta minus sine squared theta. Okay, so if we use this minus to multiply everything we have inside the bracket, it will return us back to this. Okay, take note of that. But cos squared theta minus sine squared theta is equals to cos 2 theta. Okay, and this is from angle addition formula. Okay, so in place of cos squared theta minus sine squared theta, we replace it with cos 2 theta. So that at the end of the day, we have minus 2, then cos 2 theta as our final answer. Okay, so let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option A, minus 2 cos 2 theta. Question 14, evaluate the integral of 1 minus 2x in bracket the s when we are given the limits 0 and minus 4. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So we are asked to integrate 1 minus 2x with respect to x, right? So if we integrate this, we'll be having x, then minus 2s raised to power 2 all over 2. Okay, so this is what I did. Now this s here is raised to power 1, so we'll add the extra 1 to it. That will be 2. Then that same 2, we use it to divide the 2s. So that is how this came about. So s, we cancel out s, so that at the end of the day we have x minus s squared. Of course, we put our limit because this is a definite integration question. Okay, so it's just for us to apply our limit. So to apply our limit, meaning anywhere we see x, we replace it with 0 first, then minus, anywhere we see s, replace it with minus 4. Okay, so that here we'll be having 0. Okay, let's rewrite this out. So x minus s squared, where we are given this limit, will now be equals to 0 minus 0 squared in bracket, then minus, another bracket open, minus 4 for the x, then minus in bracket minus 4 squared, also in bracket. So everything here is equals to 0, then minus, here we'll be having minus 4, then minus, now minus 4 squared is equals to 16. Okay, so that at the end of the day we have 0 minus in bracket minus 20, but remember this minus is multiplying everything inside the bracket, so that will be equals to 20. Okay, so let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option C, 20. Question 15, simplify 7 over 9 minus 2 over 3 divided by 1 over 3 plus 2 over 5 divided by 4 over 5. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So to solve this question, we are going to be solving it part by part. So we will first of all deal with the numerator first, then we'll now deal with the denominator, then now combine the final answers to get our final answer. Okay, so let's start with the numerator. So the numerator is 7 over 9 minus 2 over 3. So the LCM of 9 and 3 is 9. So 9 into 9 is 1. 1 times 7 is 7. Then minus 3 into 9 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. So at the end of the day, we have 1 over 9 for the numerator. So let's go for the denominator. So the denominator is 1 over 3 plus 2 over 5 divided by 4 over 5. So let's deal with this part first. Okay, so this part is 2 over 5 divided by 4 over 5, which is the same thing as 2 over 5 times 5 over 4. So 5, we cancel out 5. 2 here is 1, 2 here is 2. So that at the end of the day, have 1 over 2. So this whole thing is the same thing as 1 over 3, then plus 1 over 2. Okay, so the LCM of 2 and 3 is 6. So 3 into 6 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. Then plus 2 into 6 is 3. Then 3 times 1 is 3. So at the end of the day, we have 5 over 6. So let's combine this together. So if we combine this together, for the numerator, we have 1 over 9. While for the denominator, we have 5 over 6. So this is the same thing as 1 over 9 divided by 5 over 6. And this is also equal to 1 over 9 times 6 over 5. Okay, so 3 here is 3 and 3 here is 2. So at the end of the day, we'll have 2 all over 15 as our final answer. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option D, 2/15. Question 16. If m ratio n is equals to 13 ratio 11, find m square minus n square ratio m plus n in bracket square. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So basically here they are saying m is equals to 13 and n is equals to 11, okay? Or if you decide to solve in terms of n, at the end of the day, you're also going to have the same answer. Or if you decide to solve in terms of m, it's still the same thing, you are going to be having the same answer, okay? So we are giving m square minus n square ratio in brackets m plus n square, okay? So since our m is equals to 13, here we'll be having 13 square minus 11 square ratio 13 plus 11 in bracket square. So this will give us 169 and this will give us 121 ratio. This will be 24 square, okay? So if we subtract here, we'll be having 48 and here we'll be having 576, okay? So we can divide through by 48. So that if we divide through by 48, here will be equals to 1 and here will be equals to 12, okay? So the final answer is 1/12. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option D, 1/12. Question 17. Calculate the logarithm to base 9 of 3 raised to power minus 4 times 9 raised to power 2 times 81 raised to power minus 1. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So remember that the logarithm to base 9 of 3 raised to power minus 4 times 9 raised to power 2 times 81 raised to power minus 1 is written as log. So here will be 3 raised to power minus 4 times 9 raised to power 2, okay, then times 81 raised to power minus 1 all to base 9. Okay, so if we open this up, we'll be having log to the base 9, then in bracket, this is the same thing as say 1/3 raised to power 4. Okay, while here will be times 81, and here we'll be having times 1/81. Okay, because of the negative power here. So whenever you have negative power, it means 1 over the value that is given to you. Okay, but remember that 3 raised to power 4 is the same thing as 81. Okay, so here we have log. Let's just leave this as 3 raised to power minus 4 with our base 9 here. Okay, then times 81 times 1/81. Okay, in bracket. So 81 will cancel out 81. So that at the end of the day, we still have log 3 raised to power minus 4. Oh, okay, base 9, right? Now remember that this our base 9 is still the same thing as say log 3 raised to power minus 4 over 3 raised to power 2. Okay, so for the base, when the base is raised to power 2, that means we are multiplying the whole logarithm by 1/2. Okay, whatever the power of the base is. So we can rewrite this to be equals to 1/2, which is the 2 from the base, then times minus 4, which is the power from the number. So this is also log 3 base 3. Okay, but remember that when the number and the base is the same, it's equivalent to 1. So log 3 base 3 is equals to 1. So at the end of the day, we have 1/2 times minus 4 times 1, which still remains 1/2 times minus 4. So 2 here is 1 and 2 here will be 2. So at the end of the day, we have minus 2. Okay, so that the logarithm of 3 raised to power minus 4 times 9 squared times 81 raised to power minus 1 base 9 is equals to minus 2. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option C, minus 2. Question 18. If K2 in bracket base 6 times 3 base 6 is equals to 3 base 5 times in bracket K4 base 5, what is the value of K? So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So basically, it's just for us to convert what you have on our left side and what you have on our right hand side to base 10. Okay, so let's do that. So if we are to convert this to base 10, here will be 0 and here will be 1. So that will be having K times 6 raised to power 1 plus 2 times 6 raised to power 0. Okay, so this 3 base 6 is actually multiplying what we have in the bracket. So if we are converting 3 base 6 to base 10, then that will be equals to times, so let's put this in bracket, then times 3 times 6 raised to power 0, okay, because we just have a single number. While on this other side, it's still the same thing. This will be 3 times 5 raised to power 0, then open bracket, k times 5 raised to power 1, okay, because here will be 0 and here will be 1, okay, then plus 4 times 5 raised to power 0 in bracket. So at the end of the day, here we'll be having 6k, because this is k times 6 raised to power 1. Any value raised to power 1 still remains that value. Then plus 2 in bracket times 3 is equals to, this is actually equals to 3, because any value raised to power 0 is 1. So 3 times 1 is 3. Then bracket open, this will be 5k. Then plus, this will be equals to 4, right? So we'll have 3 here, we'll have 3 here, so they will cancel that. So that here we're having 6k plus 2 is equals to 5k plus 4. So we'll collect like 10. So 5k will move down to this side, and plus 2k will move down to the other side. So here we'll be having 6k minus 5. Remember, our 5k is positive here, and it's crossing equal side, so it's going to change to minus. Okay, and you'll be having 4. Of course, this is positive here, it's crossing equal sign, it's going to change to minus 2 here. Okay, so here we have k, because 6k minus 5k is equals to k, and here we'll be having 2, meaning that the value of k is equals to 2. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct option to this question, and that is option D, 2. Question 19. In a small village of 500 people, 350 speak the local language, while 200 speak Pidgin English. What percentage of the population speak both? So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. And to provide answer to this question, we are going to be using Venn diagram. So let's quickly sketch the Venn diagram. So these circles represent the two different languages. Here is Pidgin English, and here is for the local language. Okay, so here we'll be having 350 minus x, where this portion represents the number of people who speak both language, while here we represent the number of people who speak Pidgin English only. Okay, so here we'll be having 200 minus s. Of course, this part represents those who speak the local language only. Okay, so if we add everything we have in each of these parts of the circles together, it will be equals to the total number of people in the population or in the village. Okay, so here we'll be having 350 minus x plus 200 minus s is equals to 500. Okay, so this we take this out, minus s plus x we cancel out, so that we'll be having 550 minus s is equals to 500, right? Then if we move 550 to the other side, we're having minus s is equals to 500 minus 550, and that will be equals to minus s now becomes minus 50. So minus cancel out minus 50, so that s is equals to 50. Okay, remember that x represents the number of people who speak both language, and we are asked to calculate for the percentage of the population of the village that speaks both language. So now we already know that 50 people speaks both language. Okay, so to calculate the percentage of people who speak both language, that will be equals to 550 all over 500, which is the total number of people in the village, times 100. Okay, whenever we're converting to percentage, we simply multiply by 100. Okay, so these two zeros, we wipe out these two zeros. 5 here will be 1 and 5 here will be 10. Okay, so at the end of the day, we'll have 10%. Okay, so 10% of the people in the village speak both languages. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option B, 10%. Do you have any question to ask? If yes, please feel free to ask your question by simply clicking on the link in the description below, and that will take you to my school website. There you can ask all your questions, and our team of solution providers will provide solutions or answers to all of your questions within a short period of time. Moving on to question 20. Find the tax on an income of 20,000 if no tax is paid on the first 10,000 and tax is paid at 15 naira in 1,000 on the next 5,000 and at 55 naira in 1,000 on the remainder. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So we are given that the income is 20,000, and for the first 10,000 no tax is paid, while for the next 5,000, okay, a tax of 50 naira is paid on every 1,000 naira. Okay, so first of all, we are going to remove 10,000 naira for the 20,000 naira so that we know the amount that is taxed. Okay, so the amount that is actually taxed is 10,000. So the first 5,000 pay the tax of 50 naira on every 1,000 naira. Okay, so that in every 5,000 naira, okay, in every 5,000 naira you are going to actually be paying 5 times 50. Okay, and in that case you are going to be having 250. I hope there's nothing confusing here. Okay, for every 1,000 you are paying 50 naira and you have 5,000 naira. So basically for that 5,000 naira you are going to be paying 5 times 50. Okay, because there are 5 1,000 and 5,000. Okay, so now let's move on. Now they said the remainder you now pay 55 on every 1,000 naira. So in that case we'll be having 5 times 55 too, okay, for the remaining or for the last 5,000 naira. Okay, so in this case we'll be having 275 naira. So for us to get the total tax paid, we just add these two together. So this will be 5, this will be 12, write down 2 and carry 1. So we add this, which is 4, plus that one, which is 5. So the total amount paid as tax, okay, on the remaining 10,000 naira is equals to 525 naira. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option D, 525 naira. Do you have better steps or solution to any of these questions? If yes, please feel free to reach down to the comment section below to comment the question number and the solution you wish to share. Question 21. Evaluate 2 over 6 minus 5 root 3. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. Now, if there is any of this question which we have solved and you are having issue with, you can simply click on the link in the description below, which will take you to my school website. There you can subscribe to our mathematics topic by topic video lesson to learn more about that particular topic. Okay, so all the topics in mathematics has been treated, so there's no topic you'll be looking for that you will not find in that video. Okay, so let's continue with our calculation. So we are asked to evaluate 2 divided by 6 minus 5 root 3. So the first thing to do here, basically the first thing to do here is to multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. Okay, so if we have 2 over 6 minus 5 root 3. So the conjugate of the denominator will be 6 plus 5 root 3. So multiply it by 6 plus 5 root 3. And we'll also multiply the denominator by 6 plus 5 root 3. So this 6 plus 5 root 3 is the conjugate of 6 minus 5 root 3. Okay, so if we multiply out, here we'll be having 12, then plus 10 root 3. And this will be over 6 squared minus, in bracket, 5 root 3 squared. Okay, so that at the end of the day we'll have 12 plus 10 root 3 divided by 36 minus, of course this square is affecting everything inside the bracket, so 5 squared will be equals to 25, and root 3 squared will be equals to 3. So at the end of the day we'll be having 25 times 3, and that will be 75. Okay, so let's continue from here. So here we'll be having 12 plus 10 root 3 all over. So 36 minus 75, that will be equals to minus 39, right? So this is also equals to 12 divided by minus 39, then minus 10 root 3 divided by 39. Okay, so basically this is the same thing, or we can leave here as plus, then minus, let's put it in bracket, minus 39. So now we can decide to bring out the minus. Of course, this minus is stronger than plus, so definitely it's going to replace it. So we can decide to factor out this minus. So if we decide to factor out this minus, we'll be having minus, in bracket, 12 over 39 plus 10 root 3 over 39 in bracket. Okay, so this is the answer to this question. Now let's return back to the screen to pick the correct option for this question, and that is option C, minus, in bracket, 12 over 39 plus 10 root 3 over 39. Question 22. Compute 110011 in base 2 plus 111111 in base 2. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So basically we just arrange and add, okay? But remember we are operating in base 2. So here we'll be having 110011. Then we'll bring this 11111 because we have 5 ones here. So we add, everything is in base 2. So we add. So 1 plus 1 in base 2 is actually 10. So we write down 0 and carry 1. So if we add 1 plus 1 plus that 1, we'll be having 11. So we write down 1 and carry 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1 plus 1 is also 10. Then we'll write down 0 and carry 1. The same thing here, we'll write down 0 and carry 1. So here we'll be having 11 because we are not adding 1 3 times, okay? So that will be 11, then we'll carry 1. If we add the 1 to this one, that will be 10, all in base 2. Okay, so at the end of the day, we'll have 1010010 in base 2. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option B, 1010010 in base 2. Question 23. Simplify 25 raised to power minus 1 over 2 times 27 raised to power 1 over 3 plus 121 raised to power minus 1 over 2 times 625 raised to power minus 1 over 4. So let's return back to the board to provide answer to this question. So basically, we just have to rewrite this, okay? So remember, whenever we have minus, it means 1 over, and whenever we have raised to power 1 over 2, it means root, okay? So if we rewrite this, we'll be having 1 over root 25, then times, here we'll be having cube root of 27, then plus, here we'll be having 1 over the square root of 121, then times, here we'll be having 1 over the 4th root of 625, okay? So here we'll be having 1 over 5 because the square root of 25 is 5. Then times, here, since we are looking for the cube root of 27, that will be equals to 3, okay? This will also be over 1. Then plus, here, the cube root of the square root of 121 is 11. So here we'll be having 1 all over 11, then times 1 over. Now, the 4th root of 625 is equals to 4, okay? 4th root simply means 4 numbers that are the same that you multiply together to give you 625, okay, and that is 5. Okay, so here we'll be having 5. So first of all, we deal with each of these first, then before we now add, okay? Remember your board mass. So in your board mass, you first of all deal with multiplication first before you deal with addition. So that is why we deal with the multiplication part first, then before we now combine to for the addition. So here, this will be equals to 3 over 5. So we'll be having plus here, and here this will be equals to 1 over 55. So you just simply multiply, numerator will multiply numerator, denominator will multiply denominator, since there's nothing that can cancel out, okay? So you just multiply like that. So here, we now have 3 over 5 plus 1 over 25. So the LCM of 5 and 55 is 55, okay? So 5 into 55 is 11. 11 times 3 is 33, then plus 55 into 55 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1, okay? So if we add the numerator, we'll be having 34 all over 55. So there's nothing that can divide 34, that can as well divide 55. So we leave our answer at that. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option A, 34 over 55. Question 24. Convert 2232 in base 4 to base 6. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So first thing first is to first of all convert this number in base 4 to base 10. Then thereafter convert it from base 10 to base 6. Okay, so if I want to convert this to base 10, here will be 0, here will be 1, here will be 2, here will be 3. So that we'll now be having 2 times 4 raised to power 3 plus 2 times 4 raised to power 2 plus 3 times 4 raised to power 1 plus 2 times 4 raised to power 0. Okay, so here we'll be having 2 times 64 because 4 raised to the power 3 is 64. Then plus 2 times 16 because 4 raised to the power 2 is 16. Plus 3 times 4 raised to the power 1, which is 4. So you'll still be having 3 times 4. Then plus here will be 2 times 1 because any value raised to the power 0, any number raised to the power 0 is 1. So at the end of the day, here we'll be having 128, which is 2 times 46. Sorry, which is 2 times 64. That will be 128. Then plus 2 times 16, that will be 32. Then plus 3 times 4, that will be 12. Plus 2 times 1, that will be 2, right? So if we sum these numbers together, we'll be having 174 in base 10, okay? So this number, 174 in base 10, we will now have to convert it to base 6, okay? And to do that, we use the successive division method. So here we'll be having 174 and here will be 6, okay? So 6 into 17 is definitely 2, okay? Remainder 5. So we'll put the 5 behind 4. So 6 into 54, that will be 9. So in this case, we'll be having remainder 0. So 6 into 29, okay? That will be 4. Then remainder 5. Remember that 6 times 4 is 24. So 29 minus 24, you'll be having 5 left, okay? So 6 again into 4 will be 0, then remainder 4. So you read it from bottom to up. So that will be 450 in base 6, okay? So therefore, 2, 2, 3, 2 in base 4 is equals to 450 in base 6. Okay, so let's return back to the screen to pick the correct option to this question, and that is option A, 450 base 6. Question 25. In the diagram above, Q arrow is the diameter of the semicircle Q arrow. Find the area of the figure to the nearest whole number. Take pi to be equals to 22/7. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So this figure given to us is a composite figure. Okay, it consists of a rectangle and a semicircle, right? So if you are asked to calculate for the area of a composite figure, the best thing to do is to break down the figure into different shapes, okay? So the first shape we have here is a rectangle, so let's call it A, while the second one is the semicircle, so let's call it B, right? So remember that the opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. So if here is 7 centimeter, remember here is also centimeter. Basically, that is what we need. So let's calculate for the area of the rectangle, which is area of figure A, okay? Let's call it figure A. So area of figure A, so that will be equal to length times base, right? So here will be 10 times 7, and that will be equal to 70 centimeter square, okay? So let's calculate for the area of the semicircle, which is area of figure B, right? And that will be equal to, of course, semicircle is half of a circle, right? And we know that the area of a circle is pi r square. But remember, in this question, we are not given radius, but we are given diameter. But remember that radius is equals to diameter divided by 2, okay? So in this case, our radius will be equals to 7/2. So take note of that. So I remember that semicircle is half of a circle, right? So here we'll be having 1/2 times the area of a circle, which is pi r square. So if we open this up, we're having 1/2 times 22/7, then times 7/2 times 7/2, right? Since r square means r times r, and r for this question is equals to 7/2. So that's why we have 7/2 and 7/2 repeating itself twice, okay? So 2 here is 1, 2 here is 11, 7 here is 1, 7 here is also 1. So at the end of the day, we'll have 77/4, okay? So 77 divided by 4, that will be equals to 19.25 centimeter square, okay? Since we are looking for the area of the whole figure, not each of them, we just add them together to get the area of the whole figure, okay? And that will be equals to 70 for figure A, then plus 19.25 for figure B, and this will be equals to 89.25 centimeter square. Okay, so to the nearest whole number, we'll be having it to be equivalent or to be equal to 89 centimeter square. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option A, 89 centimeter square. I believe you enjoyed this video content. If yes, please do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly tap on the notification bell to get informed as soon as we release the next videos.